Okay, that's
All
fine.
right, everybody. Welcome back. Scott Pierce here with Yi Gong at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call tonight. And welcome everybody. I've been loving these calls, and so many of you are coming on all the time. So Yi, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm very ready to go. Let's go. I'm so excited too.
Why you're so excited?
Oh, because the few real sessions, live sessions we've done, we've got tremendous success, and people are doing, they go home, they do the homework, they get really excited, they bring the
Yeah.
results. So I'm like, we're doing this, like,
Yeah.
really helping our clients succeed. So yeah, let's go. Let's dive
Yep.
into it.
Before we get started on the expireds, which we'll get to, because I actually I've actually done a few really cool things here this afternoon. But you remember Gordon's video that we did with Gordon?
Yeah.
So we did that video yesterday or the day before. Today's Thursday, Tuesday. We did with Gordon. I think we did the Gordon Tuesday. It doesn't matter. And anyway,
Yesterday.
yeah, the funny thing about that was he came on so last minute. It was literally about a half hour before we started that call that he and I were just chatting on text. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be on your live call tonight. If you're having one." I'm like, "Yeah, we're having it." So he goes, "Great." And then I asked him to be on it. He took a while to respond. I thought he wasn't going to respond at all, and he ended up being on it. So that call, Carla, who you work with as an agent, I sent her that video, the webinar that we did with
Yeah.
him, the call.
Uh-huh.
Let me just say what she said. She goes, Scott. So I'm reading a text off screen from an agent that Yi works with. She's a client of Listings to Leads, and Yi is a mortgage broker. All of you may or may not know that, but Yi is also a mortgage broker. Works one of the co-founders of Listings to Leads, and so she's an agent partner with Yi, and Yi markets some of her listings and everything. And so I sent her the Gordon Day recording that we did, or the call that we did with him, and she just sent me a text, like literally, like 5 or 10 minutes ago, maybe. And she
Yeah.
goes, "Thank you so much for sending me that recording with you and Gordon and Yi. That was very inspiring and made me decide to get back onto Facebook ads again. And this time, and this time call people back. I love
There
it.
you go.
And this time call people back. So many people, right? They run these Facebook ads, they're not calling people back properly. And I'm literally reading this for the first time because I just saw it as we were coming on. And then she says, he told me that the only way people responding leads to text message, but okay. Yeah. All right. Anyways, awesome. For those of you that were not on that call, after the call, so today's Thursday, Tuesday night was the call. I'll give
Okay.
you the link to that post here in a minute. Gordon came into the mastermind group and he left this post right here, which I thought I almost wanted to cry, right? He's been in the
That's so
real
true.
estate industry for decades. I mean, we met him in 2009. He was already a
Yeah. Mhm.
broker, and he
Yeah.
he had an office. Yeah, he was a broker of an entire office in 2009. And
Mhm.
so at the end of 2024, he's going to give up real estate if he didn't start enjoying it again. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but needless to say, he is a happy camper and
And
he
he's
is
not
doing well.
retiring anytime soon.
He's not retiring anytime soon. And so I'm going to give you the link. I'm just going to review it here for a quick 30 seconds. At the link I just put into the chat panel, you can go to listingstoleads.com/blog. Just search for the title right here, Struggling with Facebook Ads and Follow Up. And if you scroll down, the first video is a call that we did with Craig Johnson. So he's a mortgage broker. This guy is killing it. Even if as an agent, you're going to want to listen to that because he's got a lot of great gold
Idea.
nuggets for the
Yeah.
ads and the feedback or the follow up. Right below that one is the one from Gordon. And I'm telling you, if you were on the call, I would come back to this and start at about 42 minutes, and it just keeps getting better because this is where he starts talking about the follow up. And, it starts off like, all right, normal, normal, normal. But man, it gets into some really good stuff on the follow up where, the woman is screaming and how he brings her off the edge and everything. And so, absolutely phenomenal. And then today, God, I wish I would have actually. So today, somebody got into the mastermind group. She was running an ad and $7.80, no leads. And
Okay.
she mentioned it in the mastermind group. So I logged into her account, took a look at it, and she broke 3 different rules of the 10 commandments. 3 of them. Really good job. Three rules she broke of the 10. Uh, wrong template. All right. Now we
I can
got a
see
lot of
my driveway.
templates. Well, here's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm not a consultant working with you one-on-one for the most part, for a lot of you. And so, people, well, I want a template. I want this template. I want that template. So we create all these templates.
I
I only like a couple of them. And in my video right here, I talk that through and I'm like, use this template. So she had the wrong template. She increased the radius to 50 miles. And I know what she's thinking. She's thinking, I want to get more leads. So let me expand the radius to 50 miles. It's got the opposite effect. So when you expand the radius of your Facebook ads, you're diluting. Imagine, right? And I can't imagine Coke. So you're drinking Coca-Cola and you're thinking, God, if I pour a bottle of water into my Coke, I'll have twice as much Coke. And it's the same thing, right? The Coke is going to taste like crap. And the same thing with your ads. So, unless you're going to really increase your budget, don't do that. And then third thing she did, which is not so much in here, but it should be, and I'm talking about the 10 commandments right here, is she had her phone number on the bottom and it was like, call me. And it was like, da, 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 which in a Facebook ad, no one's going to call you. All right. It's like your yard sign. Has anybody ever called you off a yard sign? Or if you put the text for information, can you get people texting? Now you got their phone number, you can call them back. So
right.
anyways, I reran her ad for her. I wish I would have gone in and checked it before we got on this call together because I'm certain she's probably generated a lead since then. And Neil said I took his advice and started at 9 a.m. as well. And Neil, right? I mean,
Wow.
wasn't that such a great call with him?
Wow.
The whole thing was phenomenal. But as he got further along, starting at 42 minutes, when it started at 42 minutes where he's talking about follow-up, it was kind of standard, right? It's kind of, but then it gets into some really good stuff at the longer it goes. And he had some really good questions. Neil, you had a really good question on that. So thank you very much for that. That was awesome. Yeah. So
We need to
anyways,
have a block at 9 to 10:30. It's called Dialing for Dollar. Let's go, everyone.
yeah. Yeah. So he does 9:30. Dude, yeah, I spoke to a lady who there you go.
Awesome.
So,
Yep.
and like Carla, I love Carla. I'm going to run ads and actually call them back. All right, great for you. Call them back. That's I always tell people, don't even run ads if you're not going to call. Right.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Getting leads is easy, but follow-up is half the story too.
well, and what was so good about Gordon is just he's been in the business long enough. So some of you, when you're newer, you're a little more nervous about it maybe, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be. They don't know how new you are. All right. So Gordon has been in the business for quite a while. So he's got he's in Pensacola, he's right on the coast, very chill. So when he's talking, unlike me who talks too fast and I can get a little high pitched there sometimes, he's really mellow, right? Very almost like a fatherly. And last night, remember I said, have that fatherly or motherly tone so that when you're talking to people, they feel comfortable with you.
Right.
And so anyways, I think that's kind of yeah. So Neil says, I spoke to the lead, very comfortable conversation. Yeah, it was all about the lead. And, another thing that Gordon said was, don't try to convert. And we had a really good conversation about that. Have a conversation, right? The Gordon would often, how can I help you? Would be kind of close up in the beginning of that whole conversation. How can I be of help? And don't start asking if they're pre-approved. You're just going to scare them. So anyways, I just wanted to touch on that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be interesting. In fact, this is for Carla. So we're going to be sending this out tomorrow. Can you see that?
The marketing plan to get expired episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only costs $10 to print that. And I was thinking, for a lot of people, spending $10 on a Facebook lead A Google lead is like 20 or 30 bucks a lead. I could print this up and either drop it off, like put it in an envelope and drop it off at the door or mail it. 12 bucks. That's about the cost of a normal lead. Now a buyer lead, of course, $4, but a seller lead, you're coming in at 10 to 20 bucks. So I'll be talking about how to print something like this up. We got a Brian Matheson who's going to be on a call with us. I'm actually talking to him on Monday. We're going to schedule and kind of walk through what he wants to talk about. But he literally does these, and his team. He's a team leader, and his people take these to the expireds, and he's like, they close expireds. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this tonight as well. Yeah, Neil, I got that on here. So I'll be showing you, it's on Amazon. So I got the link to the one I bought. It's almost a little weird to use because it's just so simple. And so I was using it. I'm like, damn. And we should take a video of actually using
How
it.
to make that thing?
Yeah, because when I was using it, it felt like the only reason I knew it was actually working is because I could eventually feel it getting hot. You know what I mean?
It's coffee binder.
It's binding all the paper together.
Yeah. We
And
need
I
to
like
find
it.
a better cover for it.
Yeah, totally. I think what I want to do is get the first page a thicker weight, or what do they call that? The cover, like stock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at card stock, which you totally can. So I'm gonna do that next. That's gonna be my next. Tomorrow, somebody get over somewhere where you can go buy some 8.5 by 11 card stock, and we'll reprint that with the card stock. I think on the front and the back, and that way it'll be more like a magazine or a book versus. I mean, this is okay. This is what it came with. So when I bought the machine, it came with like 50 of these, what, and it's, yeah, I'm not excited about it. What I am excited about, though, is talking about expireds, because I am going to share with you what Brian did. I don't have Brian with me. Brian, if you're on the call and want to jump on here, let me know. But Brian has agreed to come on with us. Hopefully it'll be next week. And he can literally share step by step exactly what they do. He shared a little bit of it with me already, and I'm going to share part of that today. But I have been busy, and trust me, I got other things that we're going to be talking about.
So what have you been doing?
Well, so I've got access to Gordon's account, and I've got access to My Plus Leads with his name on it. And so I was like, you know what? This was literally like 2 hours ago when it finally dawned on me. So I logged into his My Plus Leads that he still has, and I ran a list of 1,000 of just all the expired from January 1st, 2025 through now. I think it was like 1,500, whatever. It was a pretty good size number. And I did
the city of Pensacola, like what area?
Yeah, Pensacola.
Okay. All right.
So Pensacola and the surrounding area.
Okay.
And I think it was actually more, but I could only download up to 1,000 contacts at a time.
Makes sense, yeah.
So I got the expireds, and I downloaded the list, and then, and with My Plus Leads, it's just like this ridiculous list of 300 columns. But what I wanted to do is a couple of things. First, I wanted to upload it into Listings to Leads as a custom audience. And spoiler alert, it literally took 20 minutes for Facebook to return back.
Oh, wow.
Make that custom audience available. So while we're on the call tonight, I'm going to show you that. And we're actually I already ran an ad to it, but I'm going to run another ad. So I'm probably going to run 2 to 3 to 4 ads to the audience and see which one pops. Do like $2 to $3 or $4 a day max. So anyways, so I got this ungodly list from My Plus Leads, again, like 100 columns. And I knew for Facebook, it needed to be 4 columns. You don't need to memorize that. I'll show you where it is in the account later. But it's name, number, name, and 4 columns. And so there's 1,000 contacts, and it's 100 columns.
You were in and out, so you have to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 4 columns. Can
Oh,
you
you know what?
repeat?
Maybe there, is that better?
Yeah, can you repeat the 4
All right.
columns?
All right. So the spreadsheet that you get from My Plus Leads, imagine a
Yeah.
thousand rows because a thousand contacts, 100 columns. But for
Uh-huh.
Facebook, you only need 4 columns
Yeah.
per. And it's weird because it's email, number, phone number, first name, last name in that order. And so I loaded up into My Plus. I'm sorry, I loaded up into Chat GPT, and that's why I got the prompt right here, and I just said, "Can you format this CSV file?" Uh, and it actually I'm on a Mac, so it downloaded as a numbers file. So first of all, I
Mhm.
did export to CSV, and then I asked it to reformat it. And then uh, before it got too far along, I thought, oh, I better tell them I want this as a downloadable CSV file. So I did, and lo and behold, I got the CSV file back. And then listings to leads, and I'll show this to you a little bit later still, but just to show you here, you click ads. There's a blue create audience button here, kind of right behind the pop-up. And then you just click that and you upload it, right? Import and create. And it took like literally maybe a half hour. All right, maybe a half hour for Facebook to return that. We're going to take a look at the audience. Now, the whatever bad news, good news, whatever, of 1,000 contacts, I got 692. So 700. That's
That's
not
really
bad.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what I'll do is I'll go back into I will go back into My Plus Leads tomorrow and grab all the rest that I didn't get today. And I'll just
Mhm.
create a second list and just call that. And then that way I can run the ads. I can run ads to multiple lists. I can run one ad to 100 different custom audiences at the same time. That's no problem. So I've got this file from My Plus Leads, right?
Mhm.
Name, email, phone number. Now I didn't skip trace it, which would have been, or did I? You know what? Actually, it does show the do not call. So in that file, I've got the do not call
Numbers
designation for the
already.
numbers. So
Yeah.
I know which ones are D and C. And then I asked ChatGPT, and I totally goofed the question, but it knew what I was trying to say. So I said, do I have TCPA authority to email contacts from My Plus Leads? And then ChatGPT said, you're an idiot because TCPA is for telephone. You meant can spam. And I said, yeah. So I got this list because I want to make, I don't want to get into trouble and start cold emailing people and, all that kind of stuff. And so it said, as long as you're not trying to spam them. So accurate header information, a subject line that relates to the topic of the email, which you're going to do if you follow, that's what I would do, of course. You got to have your physical address in the email, opt-out mechanism, which all email platforms would have that. So then I went from there, and I did this with like 3 or 4 different CRMs, and I got the one here for Follow Up Boss. And I said, can I upload the list of expired homeowners from My Plus Leads into Follow Up Boss and attach them to an email campaign? And the short answer is yes. And you just have to follow, and there's more compliance reminders. And the great thing about that is, whether it's Follow Up Boss or Lofty, I already sent the list to Gordon. I said, hey, listen, you can do it, but if you can't, get with me and we'll do it together. Let's upload this list into Lofty and create an email campaign, because in listings to leads, we've got a lot of great emails for expireds. And I was like, let's create that email campaign for the expireds
Mhm.
and start dripping on them.
Wow.
Right. I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it took you how long? Like,
All
literally
of that
30
took me
minutes?
about 20 minutes,
Wow.
maybe not
That
even 20 minutes. I mean, going into
yeah.
My Plus Leads, and I'll get started on that a little bit where I'll point you in the right direction. You may have another data provider. You don't even have to have a data provider. Carla, right? I just told her, I said, hey, send me some of the expireds in your area that you would really want to list. And she sent
Yeah,
me like 5 expireds. And
yeah,
I
you
started
can
thinking,
get it with your title officer, have them scrub it, and you can get a whole list from your title.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
that's
Okay.
what Paula did. Yeah.
Would you
It's
have the emails as well, or just the phone, or what? Like, do you know?
I think you got the well, that part you have to ask. I don't know the
Okay.
I double check the color, but that's
Yeah.
actually on the list.
Okay. Cool. All right. So then, okay. So then I was like, in Gmail, I
Mhm,
created a template. This is an email in listings to leads that I'm going to show. This is actually it's been in your account for like 2 weeks. I just haven't done any training on it yet. So this is an email where we're going to put the 100-point home marketing plan in front of these expireds, because everybody I talk to says that 100-point home marketing plan is a game changer. And so when we can get that in front of homeowners, we get the listings. And
mhm.
so wouldn't it make sense to put that in front of an expired homeowner? And so just a couple of screenshots in Gmail, where I just created a template, and you do the same thing in, if you're going to create a campaign in Lofty or Follow Up Boss or KV Core, Constant Contact, it doesn't matter. Whatever email program you're using, you can do this with. The compliance issue is just make sure you got your unsubscribe, which every email program will force on you, that you got the your physical address, which again, most of them are going to ensure that you've got that, because they don't want to get sued. They don't want you sending stuff out and then they get marked as spam, because it affects their entire reputation. So all of these email providers that 90% of you are using, 99% probably, are going to keep you in compliance so that they stay in compliance. But I just sort of like, hey, you know what? Maybe you just, like, for example, let me go back into here. So in My Plus Leads, when I click on that email address, that actually opens up Gmail. So right here, any of these emails will open up your default email uh, uh, program.
Mhm.
And so with me, I'm in My Plus Lead. So I'm showing you screenshots because I can't show live data, right? It's just not appropriate to be showing people's phone numbers and emails. So that's why I just got like the first little part of it there. But if I were to click this email in My Plus Leads, it would open up Gmail. And then Gmail, I just go, I click down there in the bottom right, those three dots, go to templates. And I created this template. Your home didn't sell, but I've sold homes like yours. And this email is in listings to leads.
Oh,
So
wow.
I could sit there and not to go back and forth too many times. But when we worked with Gordon in the beginning, he he mentioned he's with Ricky Caruth, right? And Ricky is like crazy, right? The guy's got so much energy. But Gordon just found that going after expireds was really difficult, because he didn't, first of all, are they still expired or did they relist? And then whatever it was just very time consuming. And that's why he
You
was
check
like,
the validity of the
he,
data.
yeah, yeah. And so he found that he was just spending so much time,
Yeah.
and it was almost like he was becoming like some sort of like data detective. And he was using a Red X, he was using a mail provider. I actually have this account is one that I gave him, so I just took this back and I keep it for myself for training. And so what he was doing was he had this data going into Redex, going into Boss, which, and then again to another program, which seemed like it should have all worked because they said it all worked, but it really was just not working for him very well.
Yeah,
And then, but even beyond that, it was just uh, making sure that the data was good.
right.
So what my thought is, I told him this. I was like, hey, let's take all that back data and don't sit. I don't want you sitting there on a daily basis going after expireds. What I want to do is pull all that data out of My Plus Leads, create a custom audience, and maybe we pull the data like once a week or something, right? Once every couple of weeks. And
Mhm.
then and then for those of you calling every day, this will still work. All right, this is still awesome for you as well. Gordon just found it was easier and better for him to run the Facebook ads and call them, as we explained in the call the other night. But as we know, a lot of expireds, they don't relist in the first couple of weeks. All right, they're tired of it. They're getting overwhelmed by 3,000 agents all calling them up. I've done
Yeah.
other calls where people have said, trying to get a hold of expireds is hard because they just don't answer their phone, right? They get so many spam calls, right?
Yeah. Is that why you think email would be much more appropriate?
Well, I'm always a fan of all the above, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I know Gordon's not going to call them. So, what is our next bet? What is the next best thing that we can do where it won't take really any of this time? And so that's where I came into this idea of like, hey, let's just download for the last 6 months. And hey, I might just go back all the way through 2024 and see, just grab, because
Yeah,
in
yeah.
My Plus Leads, at least, it seems like it'll tell you if they relisted or not, and it'll pull them out of the file. Right.
Yeah,
'Cause
that might
I don't
be
want to
yeah.
go ahead.
No, that might be a really good retouching point because those people,
Yeah.
like, maybe rekindle that interest again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. All
yeah.
right. So go. Let's go to the dashboard. So in listings to leads. And again, if you are watching this, you're not a client, everything we're talking about, you can do in a free trial. Oh, hold on one second. Let me real quickly, I apologize. I just realized, let me move way down there, hit apply. I had his leads showing right there. So I will scrub that out of the recording. Sorry, but I just moved all of his, some of his data down the list. Let me just make sure I can show what I want. All right, give me one more second, everybody. I apologize. The dashboard, you can move everything around on the dashboard. And so I'm moving the recommended email blast. So what you want to find on the dashboard in listings to leads is the recommended email blast. And I'm moving it right near the top just so that I'm not showing data that I shouldn't. Perfect. All right. Let me bring that back over. Glad I noticed that. So if you want to look at his current ad data, right? These are all live ads, 381, 380, 320, and that expires when I literally just launched at like 15 minutes before we got on the call. So I don't think that's live yet, but we're going to do another one together. So this email right here, your home didn't sell, but I sold homes just like yours. And if you open it up, just click the email title.
Mhm.
This is the email. So this is sitting in the editor. If you click preview, excuse me, and I've got I got a tip for you how to make this even better. So this is the email, and the subject line is your home didn't sell, but I sold homes like yours. And then the body, and this is all editable, but hello, first name. I can only imagine how frustrating it must feel to have your home listed without a sale. You've likely poured time, energy, and hope into the process only to feel stuck and disappointed. Does this sound familiar? I specialize in helping local homeowners like you sell their homes, even in today's challenging market. With my 100 plus point home marketing plan, I can transform your listing, attract the right buyers, and get your home sold no matter what the market conditions. Now, you can and you should take a look at taking this and customizing it to your particular business. When we wrote it as a company, I had to make sure that it was applicable for everybody. When I was thinking about doing it for Gordon, I was like, I want to list some of the properties that he's recently sold to give it a little bit more validity.
Credibility. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, maybe include a link to his client review website so they can see his client reviews as well. But we know it, and also you could create a listing in your account and link to that one. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but we had to make it so that it would work for everybody across the board. If that makes sense for everybody, I hope. Yeah, if you have
Yep.
any questions that a little bit later. Right. So yeah, the idea is we want to get people to this. All right. Now, what I did is now you can send a test email. You can Now, you sending it through listings to leads is not going to be the highest use case for this. What I did is I literally just copied it. Now you can do copy code as well. And then I went to Gmail. All right. So any email program, and I just dropped it in there. So I literally copied and pasted it. Right. So again, in listings to leads, I took all of this. Again, I just copied it, went over to Gmail. This could be Follow Up Boss. This could be Lofty. This could be whatever. And I just literally pasted it right in there. Now, I don't like that URL sitting there. So what I did, check this out. If you just highlight that URL, click change. Everybody following me? Cindy, are you good? Neil, is everybody with me at this point?
Yeah.
All right. Click change. And notice I got two fields I can enter text into. The top one.
Yeah.
Click for my 100 plus point home marketing plan. Apply. Boom. So now instead of having that URL, I've got the link right there. And then I'm just going to do the same thing right here. So again, I'm going to highlight the URL, change, change, and then click for my 100 plus point home.
Flipbook.
No, just plan. If you don't put flipbook, yeah, you could, whatever. But now I got a nice clean email. Now I don't want to do this time after time after time. So now I'm going to talk about campaigns because we've got a lot of different emails in listings to leads, so that as we get the email addresses for these people, whether it's from My Plus Leads or from your title officer, if that's available, right? So here, oh, man, I hate how that thing always flops around. There we go. So in Gmail, at least, on the very bottom right, there's those three dots. I forget what you call that. And it says more options. So you see that down there? More options. And all I'm doing is I'm going to template. And save draft as template. Now, save as new. You probably don't have this like I do. So save as new. And I can say 100. Well, I'll probably go expired. So I want to make sure I don't miss the word expired. 100 plus point home marketing plan. And I'll put 2 because I've already got it in there. So I'll put 2. And now every time when I was in, remember I said when I was in My Plus Leads and I have those names and numbers of the people, I can literally just click on the email address. This is going to pop up and it'll pop up as blank. And then I just go down here and I go templates.
Yep.
I find the template I want and I put it right there. And then and their email will already be here. So their email is already going to be here. All I got to do is put in their name. Now, the reason I mention it like this is because I'm going to download the entire file and I've already sent it to Gordon to upload into Lofty. We're going to put all of those people on a campaign. So this is just for all the new people coming through. Now, if you got the data connected and it's going to go through, and if you want to do it that way, that's awesome. Like I said, though, one of the things that, and it was actually a couple of things. One is a lot of those listings he didn't want because it might be out of area or too low in price. I mean, to be honest, a lot of these listings that expire are not the listings that you want anyways, but some of them definitely are. And so he would literally go through them one by one by one. And so if you're going to just do that, right, you can just kind of boop, launch your email.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you got a campaign done, you could literally, I know like in Follow Up Boss and Go High Level, you can just like add them right to a campaign. Right. So you open up the email, your email application opens up and just add them right to a campaign. So there's a number of different ways of doing it. Again, I know with My Plus Leads, there's literally a connection to or from RedX to which way did it go? I think for that was RedX to Follow Up Boss. But
Okay.
again, it was just so jittery. It just didn't really work out well
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that is in ours. I hope we do. Yeah. If we don't, I know we do. Yeah, right here. So there's right there. Yeah, that could be a little bit better. I don't know why. I'll talk to my team about that because I don't like. I want the unsubscribe easily found. So you make a
Yeah.
note. Let's make sure. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just because I've been copying and stuff back and forth. But yeah, this should not be tone on tone. That should be a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
more.
Should be able to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the last thing I would rather have somebody unsubscribe than get mad because they find it, and then next thing you know, I'm being marked as spam. Now that said, our reputation with our email provider is like 95%. We've got an exceedingly high. In fact, when I heard it, I was kind of shocked, and I wasn't quite sure. And I asked my team, and then I looked it up. I was like, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "That's a really good, uh, that's a really good
Knowledge.
reputation for."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So this email is one email. So again, if you're using Follow Up Boss or Lofty or whatever, Neil, who do you use? Or Jim or Cindy? Oh, what they said no. When you guys said no, what were you saying no to?
They
Let
just
me know.
use listings leads.
I'm sorry.
They probably just use us.
No, I don't think too many people use us for email campaigns out to their
The custom.
FUB. We need to know. Oh, the letter. All right. There's no letter, just the email. Actually, I do have a letter. I will. Let me see.
That's easy to put together.
No. I've actually got the letter. Let me see if that's it. No, that's not it. Yeah. I will post the letter in the mastermind group. I got a letter version of this as well. And I'm actually we're going to be working on that and adding it into the system. The letter is essentially the email. But I took a screenshot of the 100-point home marketing plan. And then I'll show you what I did. Anyways, the email itself is right here. It's on your dashboard under database email blast. And then it's this right here. Your home didn't sell, but I sold a home just like yours. So right there.
It's
right?
the same type. Yeah.
That's the email. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, for the letter, let me see. No, I don't have it up over there. I thought I had it up earlier. For the letter, what's more impactful? Dude, whatever works. I mean, they get emails. This Brian Matheson, and I'm going to show you right now. What they do is
daunting.
All right. Before I get to that, let me show you here. So the letter, what I did is, so I've got the property marketing plan. Now there are two ways to do this. One is just take a little screenshot of this thumbnail, add it to a letter, and then we've got a QR code somewhere. The flip book right here. So actually you could take a screenshot of the flip book. It might be easier. And let me bring that up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do.
So my internet's not great.
We're going to do this live. I'm going to do file new. All right. So I got a blank paper right here. So give me a second. I'm going to bring it back. All right. Are we good? Everybody me okay still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna take, you know, the camera keeps going in and out.
I know we have very
Or is
bad.
everybody seeing me okay? My camera keeps going in and out. Yeah. Oh, I know. And you're actually kind of oh my God, I'm looking at the internet connection. It looks so bad. Everybody hear me? I don't know where to go to find the database email blast. Yeah, Cindy, it's right on the your dashboard. Here, hold on one sec. Let's do this. Let's go back to the dashboard. And you see up here in the top right, it says move to section. And just go to recommended email blast right there. Now he's got it right near the top because I moved it near the top. Yours may be further down the list, but just find recommended email blast and click on it. And then it's right there. It's your home didn't sell. Everybody see that now at this point?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. All right, awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. All right, yeah. So I'm just going to copy and paste all of that text in the email into that. Now I lost it. Let me go. It's on my other screen here. There we go. So I'm just going to paste it in there. Now you can't click a link on a piece of paper. So just delete that all out right there. And so we're actually, like I said, we're going to be building this into the system. It's going to be a little bit, so it's not going to be any time in the next couple of weeks. So I've got that. So I'm going to go back into the listings page, because what I want to do now is I want to add a screenshot of the flip book or of the presentation to the letter, so that when they get the letter, they're going to see that really cool image, right? So go to listing presentation and go to listing presentation flip book. I don't know why we got I'm already under listing presentation. We should just take that out. And I will use Snagit. And I'm just going to take a little screenshot of this. All right, so I'm gonna copy that. I'm just doing Command C on the just to copy it. And I'll bring the letter back over. And I'll throw that in here, move it around a little bit. So now I got this nice letter. And I'm gonna come back here and just move that. Let me move this off my screen again, because now I got to get a QR code, right? So we got the QR code right here. Download PNG, JPEGs. I'll do PNG.
Yeah.
Yep. Now that's massive. That's all right. Don't freak. It's going to look nuts when we put it in here. That's all right.
Yeah, you can shrink it.
Yeah, exactly right. So copy.
Yeah.
Now there's other ways of doing this that would be a little bit more elegant, but I'm on a call and I don't want to take forever to do it. Now I could do it a couple of different ways. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. All right. And then I could even offset that right there. And then just put a call to action on this. Scan the QR code to view my 100-point home marketing plans. That makes sense for everybody. So instead of here saying, click the link below, right? You can see how this works by clicking the link below. You can see how this works by scanning the QR code above. And then just make sure everything looks good as far as being on a printed piece of paper. But I've actually got that. In fact, do I have it right here? No, it might be downstairs. Yeah. But I've actually got that on paper. Nope. Yeah. And it looks fabulous. Just like you can see here. Then just put your signature right at the bottom. And then that way you could just drop it off. You could mail it to them. You could include it with this. But why would you? I guess if you already got this printed, you don't need the letter. But anyways, that makes sense for everybody. Cindy says, Jim says I'm lost. I bet. So Jim, what I did is I took the email, I copied it onto a Word document. Makes sense. And then I took a little screenshot of the flipbook cover and I just threw it into the same Word document. And then I'll show you where the QR code is, Cindy. And we can do this again later so that we can do it all again. But in the under listing presentation, so right here, listing presentation, there's a tab called listing presentation flipbook. And so this is where I took the screenshot, right? This is the flipbook right here. So I took a screenshot of that to put on the letter. But then again, I need the QR code. Now, Cindy mentioned Bitly, but what I did is there's a QR code right here. So I just downloaded that QR code, opened it up. And then if you go to edit, copy, right? Copy. Now, when I bring up that letter again, check this out. See, Jim, tell me if this makes. And I got my camera keeps like dropping every 3 seconds. So let's delete that and say, so, I just downloaded the QR code where you saw where that was. I did edit, copy. I throw it in there. It blows it all up. So it's nuts. No problem. Just click it, shrink it. Everything comes back. And you can even put it down here, right? That might be nice. Put it up here, right? They both move around. And now when I go to print it, it's going to look hot, right? Put my signature at the bottom, of course. Scott Pierce, right? L2L Realty. You get the idea. And now I got a really nice letter. And if I want to do a mail merge or just save it and put their people's name on there, right? Hello, Neil. Now, I might be able to upload this into a mail program. And then that way, as new people come through, I just mail it to them. Or I just mail it one by, because how many expires are coming through all the time? Maybe that you want to deal with right now. Initially, you might send this out to a print house and say, it could be Mailbox Power. It could be Zaire Mail. It could be whatever you want, and do like the first group of 500. But then going forward, it's probably only a couple at a time. And I know when I look around here and I look at expireds, there's not a lot of them that I would even want to list if I was an agent still. They're just too far away and they're low price point. Yeah. So Cindy, do me a favor. Get with me if you need any help. All right, get into the mastermind group. Let me know how I can make this more simple. It's probably going to be about a month or so before that's built into the system, where it's just there for you. But it's so easy to do, and I'm more than happy to help out and get. I'd love to see you get some expired from that. But okay, so here's what Brian does, and I can't wait for him to come on. We got 2 more things I want to walk through. What Brian does, and then running an ad to a custom audience. We got so much more than that. Even we got the expired PDF guide. We got the expired landing pages that I haven't even mentioned yet. But what Brian, and actually Gordon has done this too.
Wow.
You can add a listing as expired. So that camera keeps dropping. Do you see that camera dropping?
Yeah, and the voice back and forth too.
Do you see the camera dropping? Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The connection's so bad. I apologize. And I can see the internet coverage is awful. Yeah. Maybe you need to mess with the router before we get on this. If you go to add listing manual, just like for listing presentation, just like for FSBO, I can add expired, drop in the name, email, and phone number. Literally takes 2 to 3 minutes, right? Put in a nice little property description, save and add photos, add 1 photo. So go take a photo of the house. We found this one online, and it was not from a listing agent. I I think it was, anyways, I'm not going to worry about it. Don't use a listing agent's photos. Don't, you don't want to get into trouble. So I would go take a photo of the property, and you can add that in step 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to drop into your account just like a listing. So listing presentation, but you get the flip book, you get the PDF, and it's so clean. It looks so much better because now it's just of their house. And I think even their house representative listing in the area, I would. God, that thing just keeps dropping every 3 seconds.
I'm so
So
sorry.
8402 Foxtail right here. If I click the address,
Yeah.
oh, I know, it's just the worst. So when I click on, so when you got a listing marked as expired, click on the address and check this out. Flipbook presentation. Now it'll take about a minute to generate for the first time, but it's going to be just like this one. And I'll show you. Let me go to the page where they have the QR code, because now every page is of that home. Let me see. Well, so there's the, you can see there's the virtual tour right in the single property website. There's the listing flyer, mobile marketing. So when they scan QR code right there, that's of their home. And that is so slick. And that's what I was saying before. With this
What page is that?
machine,
What page is that has the
like
QR
page
code?
14.
Page 14. Okay.
Yeah. And here, yeah. And on laser, this is the one that Brian uses. And this is the one I ordered. And this is the one I printed this with. Now, again, I don't like the little covers that it came with. It's kind of just a little whatever. So we're going to go buy.
It's a little floppy.
Yeah, we're going to buy some nice cardstock to put on this. And I think it'll look a lot more sophisticated. So yeah, here, let's come back. Yeah. So anyways, when that comes up, I think a lot of you know what that looks like. All right. So good on the part of adding an expired listing to your account for like I said, this is one that she really wants. And so we, again, a seller lead is $10 to $20 to $30 a seller lead. So why would I not just go, you know what, I can print this for like, what do we say, like $8 to print?
Yeah, 8 to 12.
$8 to $12 to print.
Yeah.
And then the binder is $57. It's only $57. So if you're going to use it for a while, that's going to amortize out really nicely. So yeah.
Did you see that?
That's
it was
easy.
on sale from 52.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, it's cheaper than when I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid 57. Yeah, I paid the typical price.
Yeah.
So y'all are getting the $52. Let me put that link into the panel. I should get an affiliate link. Man. All right. So the last thing is, let's talk about the ads. So we got the custom audience from My Plus Leads. Neil, you 1,000 contacts. Wow, that is so brutal. Anyways,
I feel like
all right.
So third world country. Sorry, man.
Oh, I know. Sometimes I swear to God, it's like, we travel to El Salvador, we go to Taiwan, wherever. The U.S. has the worst internet connections, whatever, throughout the entire world. People talk about the third world. This is a third world with technology sometimes, I swear. I mean, even on a good day, the internet is like not great in California. I mean, Neil, I don't know about you in Los Angeles, but yeah. Cindy, the idea is to get rid of this entirely. and print the cover sheet with the heavier paper, and then the final page as well. Let me show you the final page as well with the heavier stock paper. Get rid of the plastic thing, like I said, and then bind it so that it looks more. I think it'll look a lot more sophisticated, and it will look just a much cleaner look to it. You know,
Yeah.
this whole thing here is chintzy.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So I don't know if you can print with a heavy paper like using a regular HP
Well,
printer laser.
I'm not gonna go like heavy, but I think it'll go to, I'll look at
Well, we'll try it.
yeah,
We'll try
yeah, we'll find something that works. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right. So create Facebook ad. Create landing page ad. Or you got PDF guide. Let's just do PDF guide for right now, because I'm not gonna have time to show you how to create. Now you can create a expired landing page. So PDF guide,
Mm-hmm.
expired, search. And you can use custom. So if you got a custom PDF guide, you can upload it right there. Create ad. All right, lead ad. Now I can do traffic, I can do video views. There's a lot of strategies, but I'm just gonna do lead ad. And that's gonna put me right in the work area. Location. Oh, we're not gonna use location. We got a custom audience. No location.
All right. Remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Here. So here is right there. Check this out. Expired homeowners 010125 to 060525. That was from today.
Oh.
Right. And then I'm going to change lifetime to daily. And actually, all right. So here's what I did for the first one. I think I did lifetime or daily for $3. I'm going to do this. So I've already, and then I hit create ad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's an autoresponder, create ad. So instead of going to the single property website, like a listing ad, with the PDF guide, they literally go and download the guide. So they're taken to a page where they download the guide. Maybe if we can, we're going to do a little.
If we can.
All right. I saw that the whole thing reset for the 30th time. Yikes. Sorry about that long URL. I pressed the send button prematurely. Janita. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Let me.
Oh.
I don't know how I can copy that, though. She's got this, but I don't know how. Let me see. Sorry, I'm going to hide it. I'm trying to see. I don't know how I can copy. Hold on.
You have to insert a link and then put.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't. But what is that? I ordered these binding covers from Amazon. Janita, if you can, maybe put that in the mastermind group. Or if anybody else, did anybody click on that? Is it clickable for anybody? I can't click on it.
You have to
I'll leave it there for a few. Pardon me?
You have to copy.
Yeah, no, there's no, I can't, because in the control panel, it's either show or hide. And so, yeah, show or hide. So anyways, so previously I ran it to the custom audience and I did like $3 on the daily budget, but I want to test. I'm going to do lifetime 50, just like a regular seller ad or a buyer ad that I recommend. And I'm going to do 5 days. Because I like to be at least $10 a day for a seller ad minimum, maybe even a little bit more. So I'm gonna do 5. Today's the 5th. So the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's gonna be over the weekend. I like that. So it's gonna be Fridays, essentially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday.
You know what? I'm just gonna go through Sunday. I'm just gonna go right through the 8th. So I'm gonna spend like $15 a day. I like that better. And let's see how we do there. I'm going to try change image and video. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm just going to leave that same image. That image is fine. Expired listing that failed to sell. Now what? I may change the image later, and then I'm just going to do create ad. And so now I got 2 ads running. I got one with the custom audience, a daily budget of $3 or it was like $3 for a week. And then I got a lifetime again to the custom audience, but for $50 for 1 week. So I got one lifetime, one daily. The daily is going to be a total of like $21 or $22. The lifetime will be twice as much and faster, but it'll give us give me a good indication of which one is going to perform better.
Mm-hmm.
And if neither one of them perform great, this is actually from a landing page. So in fact, oh yes, that's cool. Yeah, we'll see which one performs better. It's 6:01. All right. Yeah, I got to go because my son, they got the basketball game on. It's the NBA championships tonight, game 1. So hopefully all of you are going to go watch that. We are going to be doing expireds again with Brian Matheson, hopefully next week. If not, I will do give me feedback in the mastermind group. What part of this, because we covered a lot, what part of this in the mastermind group, what part did you want more information on? Do you need further clarification on? And all that kind of stuff. And that way I can get in there and help you, because again, I know we went through a lot of this today, and there is stuff that we didn't even touch, like the landing pages, right? Randall, where can we view find? All right, last thing before we all take off, under listings. Now again, Randall, I can create this for specific properties, listing presentation status, expired, or FSBO. But your main one is going to be under listing presentation tab right here. So it goes listings, listing presentation, more tools and settings. Under listing presentation, you've got the flip book. That's the online version. All right, so that'll cycle up and that'll be ready in a second. And then you got the PDF version right here. And I can download the PDF, print it. And again, the flip book right here. This is great for presenting online. Sometimes I do that. I start clicking around too fast. So this is the online version. But if I'm going to do a listing presentation, if I'm going to print that up for a specific expired, I'm going to add that listing to my account as expired, as FSBO, as listing presentation. And that way, every single image in that whole presentation is of that home. And that's so much more, it's a lot cleaner and it's a lot more impressive to that homeowner. But people have used the main one here as well and have done great. Yeah. So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. As always, go have a great night and we'll talk to you next week. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really a lot of fun.
Sorry for the internet connection. That was horrendous.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Say good night.
Good night, everyone.